Perfect. What's going on, guys? Norm here. We're in the lab. What we're doing today, tacos. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the regular ground beef taco with a little bit of a different vibe to it. So don't worry, it's not the plain Jane regular thing that you're used to that your mom made when you were a kid, just a pack of seasoning or whatever. This is different. So what we are gonna do is we are gonna start with our ground beef. I'm using about 2.5, 3 pounds, whatever the family size pack is that you get at the store. We're gonna use whatever your favorite brand of taco seasoning is. Again, this is not gonna be the same. We're twisting this up. We're gonna need the tortillas. I'm going with the soft because I like to toast them a little bit. I'm gonna use a little bit of hot sauce. This time I'm going with something pretty hot. You don't have to have hot sauce, it's not required for this at all. But I'm going with Maritime Madness Moonshine Habanero. I couldn't remember if it was Moonshine Habanero or Habanero Moonshine, but that's what we're going with is this guy. She's spicy. You're gonna want to get a bottle of your favorite salsa. I'm using my own homemade. This is tomatoes, onions, mango, lime, peppers, hot peppers, a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of sugar and stuff. So this is like a sweet heat to it. We're gonna need a jar of that. We are also gonna need beer. I'm using something very citrusy. This is the Juicy Double IPA from Garrison Brewing here in beautiful Nova Scotia. We want something that's a little bit citrusy because we want to give this a little tiny citrus punch while giving a little bit of a beer flavor, kind of punch that up a little bit. We're going to finish this off with a little bit of ranch, just a tiny bit of lettuce for garnish. We got a pack of shredded Tex-Mex cheese. You can go with anything that has a little tiny bit of flavor to it, usually like a Jack and Monterey Jack and aged cheddar is my go-to. I don't feel like shredding cheese, so I bought the pre-shredded one. This one has a little tiny bit of jalapeno in it too. That's all we need. Now this might seem like a lot at the moment, but it's really not. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this beef frying on the stove, and I'm gonna be back and show you the other couple things we're doing. This is gonna be super simple. All right, guys, so while that beef is on cooking, I'm gonna show you what we're doing with the lettuce. So this is only small because I bought this a few days ago. I used it for a few things, but we don't need a ton. What I like to do with the lettuce is I just like to shred it up a little bit. And the key to getting good shredded lettuce for me is take it, cut basically the top off, and you're gonna have something that looks like this guy. I usually cut it in half, and then I just slice that up so that we get the perfect shredded lettuce every time. So we're gonna finish with this just for a little bit. We're gonna have lots of fruit and veg going into this because we're doing with the salsa too, which is actually going in the meat, so stay tuned for that. All right, guys. So we got our ground beef all cooked up. So what we want to do now is we want to take whatever the recommended for the taco seasoning is, get that in over the ground beef. Give that a little mix. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add in our salsa. Now this is about a 500 ml jar. I'm using all of it. There she goes. Give that another mix. Now usually what would happen is if you're making regular tacos that you just buy a kit for, you have like a powder and then it's water. So I add the salsa to give it a lot more fruit and vegetables that we would usually have as well. Create a lot of flavor, give it some of that moisture. But as you can see, it's not really where we need to be to get all that stuff absorbed. So we get our beer in. So I'm probably not going to add this whole thing, but I'll add most of it. There, I added about 3/4 of that, so then I got the rest all. That's delicious, boys. So what I'll do is sit that, so that's gonna look like what a regular like taco that you were doing, like regular beef with like the water kit. Now, if you don't have this kind of beer or something very citrusy available to you, what I would highly recommend is to grab a Corona and a little squeeze of lime juice, just to get that kind of Mexican-y flavor to it. So that'll work really well with this too. I've done it a million times before. Corona, lime juice, or you can just do, if you don't want to buy beer, you know, you can do water, lime juice, and that's going to work too. So maybe if you just do water, whatever the recommended water is, basically drop in like a tablespoon or 2 of lime juice, probably per pound that you're cooking. So I'm going to get this reducing. So what's going to happen is we're just going to let this simmer on the stove on high heat until all the liquid reduces out of it and everything, all that flavor gets absorbed into the meat. Then we're going to put the rest together and we're eating. All right, boys, look at that. She's thickening up, she's reducing down. Not much longer. That looks unreal. All right, boys. There we go. See? So right about now, we're gonna kill the heat. Let that sit for a minute. Get it off that hot burner. So all that liquid's kind of just evaporated and all the flavors are soaked into that meat. So we're gonna get the rest going here now. All right, boys, we're in the end game now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab myself a baking sheet with some parchment paper on it. I'm going with 2, I think, to start. So I'm gonna grab 2 of these soft tortillas. All we do now is we take our beef mixture that we made, scoop a couple big tablespoons in there. Something like that. That should be plenty. All right, now our cheese. Don't go crazy on the cheese, but it's not gonna be good if it goes too crazy. You wanna taste everything else. Fire that in the oven. I got mine on convection at about 400. You're probably gonna wanna cook that for just a couple minutes because we don't wanna crisp that up so that we can't fold it. If you don't have a convection oven, maybe put it on broil, because if the meat's still hot, you're laughing anyways. So all you want to do is get that cheese melted. You just want to get a little tiny crisp on that shell. So let's get that in the oven, give it 2-3 minutes, check on it, see if that cheese has started to melt, then we're going to finish up. Alright, boys, so the tacos did their time in the oven. We're going to get them out, and now what I have is I have a couple taco holders. Now, if you don't have these, that's fine. All you're going to do is pick them up off your plate anyways and eat them. Like, not going to make a big deal. It's just nice to have them to stack these this way. It's not a huge deal if you don't have them, but these guys cost, this little metal thing costs about, I think, 15 bucks for 2 on Amazon, so I grabbed a few of them for when I have people over. So now that we got the tacos out, the cheese is melted, everything's good, I don't want to go too crazy because this is really, really spicy hot sauce, so I'm just going to go a quick little strip down the middle of both of them. Then what we're going to do, a strip of ranch. Now, ranch on tacos is absolutely lights out. It's a hidden gem. I don't know a whole lot of people that do this. My buddy Brent, when I first moved out here in Nova Scotia, showed me this, and it's like, this is my jam. So give that a nice little strip down the middle. You don't have to be shy with it. So anyways, then we want to take some of our lettuce, which I took the liberty of kind of packaging up for later. That's it. This is it. This is done. Look at that, boys. That is a beautiful taco. Let's get into one. That's it. Game over, boss. That's all she wrote right there.